What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Salut à tous et bienvenue sur ma chaîne. So before I get into this video, I do want to say a little bit of a disclaimer. Like I always say in all of my videos, I'm not a health professional, I'm not a nutritionist. Basically anything that I share goes off of my own personal experience as well as just research that I've done online, and I would suggest that you also do your own research as well. In this video, I am going to highlight some brands that use ingredients that are either banned completely in other countries or ingredients that have had scientific proof that they're not necessarily the best for you. Now, I do want to say I am not a super health freak. I'm not a super clean eater. I have no type of food label on me. I am a person who loves food, all types, all flavors. I just like to be conscious of the things that I am putting into my body. So enough blabbing, enough disclaimering, even though it's not a word, enough warning. Let's go ahead and just jump right into the video. The first ingredient that I'm going to talk about is found in multiple foods and is banned in several countries, and it's high fructose corn syrup.
Now, even worse than sugar
is
this. Look how appetizing that is.
And that is?
This is high fructose corn syrup.
Oh, that's what it is.
Now, it's very sweet.
Yeah.
But it's not very good for you.
It's not good for you.
Because it blocks the ability of a chemical called leptin, which is the way your fat tells your brain it's
I'm
there.
full.
Exactly.
I'm full. Okay.
So you don't want to have
this is the thing that's blocking it, and so you just keep eating and eating until you're literally stuffed.
Right.
And with that being said, you can find high fructose corn syrup in Sara Lee's deli rolls. Kraft's classic Catalina is advertised as a fat-free dressing, boldly printed with no artificial flavors and no added MSG. However, it does have high fructose corn syrup as the second dominant ingredient. High fructose corn syrup can literally be found everywhere, and it's even in your Heinz ketchup. And on top of that, it is the third dominant ingredient. But I know I've seen Heinz ketchup overseas traveling, so I decided to look on an online store in the UK and go to the Heinz ketchup, and absolutely no high fructose corn syrup.
The main reason you should give up high fructose corn syrup is this. It's a big red flag for very poor quality food. If you see it on the label, I guarantee you it's junk. It's processed food, it's processed salad dressing, processed ketchup, it's processed bread. I mean, you name it, it's everywhere. So if you see it on the label, put it back on the shelf. You really should not be consuming this food.
Oreos are another food product that contain high fructose corn syrup. And a little less obvious are these, quote, healthy looking English muffins. Jimmy Dean Delights are marketed to be made with whole grain, 17 grams of protein, and are only 260 calories. This simple 4-item breakfast has over 15 ingredients, and high fructose corn syrup is one of them. The Jimmy Dean sausage, egg, and cheese croissant is another simple item with a long list of ingredients, and high fructose corn syrup is one of them.
And this is driving most of the epidemic of heart disease, cancers, dementia, and of course diabetes. So this is the real driver. If we took one thing out of our food supply that would make the biggest difference, it would be high fructose corn syrup, because it's just in such a volume there. In fact, the average 20-ounce soda has 15 teaspoons of sugar, all high fructose corn syrup. The average kid has 2 of those a day.
Fruit Loops are advertised as a good source of fiber and are made with whole grain and natural fruit flavors. A lot of people say US cereal does taste really weird, but Fruit Loops can also be found in Australia, but they do use completely different ingredients. Here's a clip of Australians trying American cereal.
Guys, this tastes exactly like Fruit Loops. I don't know if you have them in America.
You think so? I'm not getting
I like Fruit Loops. Yeah, they're a bit more fruity than Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this is gonna be bad for you.
guys,
That
it smells.
artificial smell. Ooh.
Like that smell is like no other.
It's
I
like
don't know, man.
It's like an artificial like sugar that they must use in America that is weird
It's
to me.
very vanilla-y.
Yeah, it's like. Cause I feel like if we just have normal sugar.
You guys are weird. You have weird sugar.
Fruit Loops contain artificial dye red 40, blue 1, yellow 6, and BHT, which are banned in many countries.
Now, I bet many of you are wondering, what are artificial food dyes? Well, they are a set of chemicals that are added to our food to enhance the color and appearance. They are man-made, petroleum-based, and banned in many countries. They provide no nutritional value, and many have been linked to cancer.
So if Australia has Fruit Loops and they don't taste the same, what are the major differences? So I went on to an Australian online grocery store and I went to look up the ingredients. Fruit Loops in Australia do not contain any artificial dyes and they do not contain BHT to preserve the freshness. Lucky Charms, this was literally one of my favorite cereals and it's advertised to have whole grain as the first ingredient and the cereal is also gluten-free.
This looks super colourful. They're like fluoro. Surely that's like really artificial, right?
It looks like it's stale and like it's been sitting in the cupboard for ages.
That tastes so bad. Like, not bad, but bad for you. That tastes like, honestly,
I don't like that.
such artificial, like, sugar and sweetness.
No, do you know what it just tastes like to me? I feel like it just tastes like how long has that been sitting in that bag, those little marshmallows? Like, I feel like they could be preserved for like 40 years.
I can say it's definitely not fresh. It's definitely got a lot of preservatives. You know what? I love cereal though, so I'll eat it all. Fume of goodness. Fume of diabetes. Nah, these are yum. These are actually really yum. These can't be good for you. Like, there's colours in this I've never even seen before.
These are not good for you.
That's okay.
Lucky Charms also contains artificial dye yellow 5 and 6, red 40, and blue 1.
Number 7 here, yellow number 5 and number 6. I want to read off some of the side effects here of yellow number 5. It's been linked to asthma, migraine headaches, thyroid cancer, anxiety, clinical depression, and skin inflammation over time. Again, when you're eating these cereals and different foods with yellow 5 and number 6, for you and your kids, stay completely away from those.
Quaker Instant Oatmeal Blueberries and Cream is advertised as heart healthy. The long list of ingredients for oatmeal contains artificial dye Blue 2 Lake and Red 40 Lake. During my travels, I've definitely seen Quaker pretty much everywhere, and I looked into the ingredients in Canada. Canada doesn't have the blueberries and cream, but they do have a berry instant oatmeal, which does not contain any artificial food dyes. Quaker in France doesn't even have instant oatmeal as an option, but they do have a berry cereal, and the berry cereal does not have any artificial food dyes.
Many of these dyes have been removed from products in Europe.
The European Union now requires most foods containing 6 specific food dyes carry a warning label stating that the color may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children.
Artificial food dyes can also be found in Doritos for U.S. consumers. It contains yellow 6, yellow 5, and red 40. The UK also has Doritos, but the Dorito ingredients for UK consumers use paprika extract instead of artificial dyes. Hot Cheetos is another snack that is sold in other parts of the world, and the United States product contains red 40 Lake, yellow 6 Lake, yellow 6, and yellow 5. The Atlantic Superstore in Canada sells Hot Cheetos, and their ingredients do not contain any artificial dyes. Nutri-Grain strawberry bars are whole grain. They have more quote-unquote real fruit and absolutely no high fructose corn syrup. These were my favorite healthy breakfast go-to bars, but they also contain artificial dye red 40. On the box, it says more real fruit, but I'm really trying to understand, what does it mean to have more real fruit? I just don't understand what that means. But with all of that being said, the blueberry flavor for the Nutri-Grain also has artificial dye red 40 and blue 1. Special K Vanilla Almond was one of my favorite healthier cereal options. It's marketed to have whole grain, fiber, vitamin D, and folic acid. But instead of using an alternative to preserve the freshness, Special K uses BHT, which is a banned ingredient in a lot of countries. Frosted Flakes is another cereal that uses BHT as well.
HA and BHT are two more food additives that are raising health concerns. They are preservatives used in cereal, baked goods, and snack foods. They're linked to cancer and banned in the UK and Japan.
Wheat Thins are 100% whole grain and have no artificial flavors or colors. The packaging material used to pack Wheat Thins contains BHT to preserve the freshness, although there are other options. Wheat Thins can also be found in Canada, but the Canadian ingredients of Wheat Thins do not contain any BHT, and BHT is banned in countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and some parts of Europe. A lot of the ingredients used in these foods can be replaced, and the good part is a lot of the brands actually do listen to the consumers when they want a change. For example, Kraft changed their recipe for their ranch, and I'm sure that had a lot to do with a lot of the consumers wanting better ingredients. And Kraft mac and cheese used to be super infamous for having artificial dyes, and now they have changed their ingredients to no longer have dyes, no artificial flavors, and no preservatives. Alright guys, so that concludes my video. I hope this kind of opened some of your guys' eyes about certain things. I hope you guys are doing your own research and learning more about the food that you put in your body. And my intentions weren't to bash any brand or any person who eats things that, you know, I always used to eat when I was growing up. I do want to say once again, brands listen to their consumers, and if enough people are passionate about something not being in their food, they will make the changes. So hopefully this inspires you guys to also reach out to brands, sign petitions, and basically change our ingredients so that we're feeding our children, our friends, our family members, our mothers, our grandmas, ourselves, the best that we basically can put into our body. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next upload. Bisous!